Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of the Final Fantasy Legend 2, and it's boss time here now. The boss of this Ashura's base, the Rhino. It's a level 3 monster, and he told us that it's stupid of Key to have come here, but we're gonna make him regret that because we're gonna take him out. So we could just use Key's Thunder to deal a lot of damage to him, but luckily Key outspeeds him, so we're gonna put her on healing duty, and we're gonna let our other characters have a chance to fight and potentially gain stats. So, but Honey Mouse is so strong, she took him out real quick. And Vincent got an ability, no stats, but oh well. It's too late. Most of the magic is already in Ashura's hand. He said, let's get out that door, but not the door behind us. This door is locked. There's a door ahead of us that's off screen, and that's the one we're gonna have to leave through. So, but just prolong these fights here a little bit because we're trying to gain some stats. But unfortunately, like I said, most level 1 monsters don't really have a good chance of you gaining stats. But another thing that we're wanting to do here is we want to try to use as many uses of the punch as we can. So, remember, every time we use a punch, the next punch becomes more effective. And Vincent lost poison and acquired poison. Yes, sometimes you can lose an ability and have it replaced by the same ability, so Vincent now has 4 abilities, so he's always going to lose the one at the bottom of the stack, which is right now poison. Poison isn't all that important. Strong against poison is all that important because a lot of enemies, most enemies don't use poison attacks. There's very few, so the other abilities we got, more important, so. And we're running into lots of enemies, but that's okay because we want to use up some of them punches, and we also want to try to gain. I have to check on my gold here to see how close I am to that 6,800. I want to buy that submachine gun before we go into the next world. It's going to be a lifesaver, as I mentioned earlier in the last episode, so. Yeah, because even though Honey Mouse is pretty strong, we're going to need a group attack. And while we could buy a spell book, well, spell books. Wait, Honey Mouse, won't you open the treasure box? Yeah, we gotta get the treasure box. So, yeah, because there's Magi in it, so. Magi, interesting thing about Magi, you can equip Magi. I equipped some Magi earlier. And Magi, because it's the relic of the ancient god, it actually has some stat increasing things that it can do for you. So, for instance, the defensive Magi, it increases the defense. It doesn't show in our stats, but basically it gives like 5 points of defense as a bonus, and then every 5 Magi that we get after that, so every additional 5 defense Magi will raise the stat another point. So it's one way to passively increase your stats. They don't show up on your menu, but it does affect the calculations in battle. Power Magi does something similar with your strength. Speed does the same with your agility. Mana Magi increases your damage with mana-based things. There's some mana-based weapons, and then there's also some, your spells. So, and then the Elemental Magi, Fire, Ice, Thunder, and Poison. They do some interesting things. So they're kind of coded weird. So some of them don't necessarily do what you would expect them to do, but if you equip a Fire Magi, what that will do is it will give you protection from fire, and it will also increase the damage that you do with all magic spells. Ice and Thunder were kind of switched. If you have Ice Magi equipped, it gives you protection from thunder, and increases your damage with fire magic. Thunder Magi, if equipped, will give you protection from ice, so ice and thunder have their protections swapped, and it will also increase the damage with all magic attacks. And the Poison Magi will give you protection from poison, and increases your damage with fire-based attacks, so. When you step on this thing, Key tells us goodbye, she has to stay in this world, and she leaves us. So now we enter the Celestial Pillar. And this is the hub between different worlds. So we just head into a new pillar. Now if we head over to the right here, we're going to get into a door. It's going to say, hey, we need more magi. That's basically saying, hey, you need to go into the world that is open to you, explore it, and get all the magi in it. So, now we know this world is going to be Ashura's world, because somebody told us that, and the next world will be Giant's world. After that, well, you're going to have to just keep following along to find out. But this is Ashura's world. It's a desert-based world. We got this little town here, Desert Town. It's a paradise for us scamps. And it's a paradise for scamps because we can actually run into monsters in this town. So Ashura became a god with magi here. Ashura wants to get the magi and gain ultimate power. We gotta stop him. Giants used to live in the next world, but not anymore. Refreshments for only 10 gold. I saw a shadow of a tower in the sandstorm. It must be Ashura's tower. Go 7 to the east and 7 south to the cactus from south of this town. You'll see a cactus there. The tower is south of it. Ashura's tower is in the eastern sandstorm. I am right. Ashura's tower is in the southern sandstorm. I'm right. And Ashura's sandstorm is in the western sandstorm. It's a secret. The only one who's right is the one who's in the southern. Now, we run into a battle right here. So, yep, we can run into battles in this town because it's the town of scamps. So, now that one guy kind of gave us directions how to find Ashura's tower, but while it is kind of appropriate the directions he gave us, it doesn't account for there's these strong winds in the desert. So it's kind of like the Ultima games, where you're going to have limited vision when we head into the desert. And there's some invisible winds that push you around. So to find Ashura's tower, there's a much easier way. It's going to be longer, but you don't have to worry about limited visibility or the sandstorm. So that guy said Ashura's tower is hidden in the sandstorm. Yeah, we don't have to worry about the sand, so. Well, there's a PSI knife. That's another one of those, it's a mana-based weapon, so. We kind of got by another martial art there for Linus there. We would have liked to have gotten another punch. Kick is a little bit stronger, but it's more expensive than a punch, so. But now we'll be using that to hopefully raise agility of Linus. We also got hopefully raise the agility of Vincent there using the martial arts. So martial arts, besides doing good damage when they start getting low, they also raise agility, and that's the stat that we want to increase. So agility affects your ability to hit targets, your accuracy, and also affects your turn order. Higher agility characters will go first before other characters, so we want to outspeed the enemy so we can hit them, because if we defeat them before they have a turn, well, they can't hurt us. So let's take out these troopers here. You could potentially drop a shield. Shields don't raise defense. Shields equipped have to be used as an item like a sword or a martial art or something like that, and they have a chance to block attacks. The stronger the more expensive the shield, or the stronger the material that the shield is made of, the better chance it has to block. So we're gonna buy some better gear here. We'll get some silver gauntlets. So sell some gear as well. Try to get maybe another silver gauntlet. We have the cure spell from Vincent, so we can get rid of those little cure potions that we have. That'll allow us to be able to afford this other silver gauntlet, so. Badonk. There we go. And eventually we'll have to get more money to buy some better armor, but. Alright, Desert Town. Town of us scamps. Okay. Now we could go south to find that cactus, but yeah. We're gonna head into the sandstorm over on the east. And we're gonna head all the way through the sandstorm. There's no winds in this sandstorm here. And we're gonna walk all the way to the edge of the world. And we're gonna run into a bunch of mountains. And we're gonna follow that mountain range all the way to the south. So, until we hit the southern mountain range, so the southeastern border. So, First, you gotta take care of all these guys, and these guys can be annoying. Zombies, not so much, but the slimes are bad. See, they have that dissolve attack. That dissolve attack deals damage to your characters, and it also heals the slime. So it'll say like, slime attacks Honey Mouse with dissolve, 60 hit points, absorbs 60 hit points. That means the slime did 60 damage to Honey Mouse and stole 60 hit points, so it healed itself and damaged Honey Mouse at the same time. So yeah, it's healing itself and hurting our characters. So yeah, kind of annoying, but they're the worst enemies in this area. But luckily we got Vincent's healing, so. Now later on I'm going to show a trick that you can use to heal your robot without using any charges of the heals, the cure spell. So magic isn't very effective on robots because they never have any mana. Which means that robots are going to take a lot of damage from spells because your mana stat also determines not only the damage that you deal with spells, but also your magic defense. So robots are going to take a lot of damage from spells, so that's why you may want to equip them with one of those magi's like fire, ice, thunder, to give them protection from some type of spell. You don't really have to worry about giving them poison though, because they come in with an innate strong against poison with that para O poison. So now we hit the southeast corner, and we're going to start heading west. And this is going to be our first chance to that we're going to use to upgrade P. We want to get the Barracuda there to drop its meat. It's random, but we get lucky here. The Barracuda drops its meat. And if we eat the meat, we get a crab! Woohoo! And we also get a really good ability warning. Not so good here at the beginning of the game, but toward the end of the game, it's going to be a lifesaver. Some enemies are going to have an ability called Surprise. If an enemy has the ability with Surprise, there's a chance that that enemy will get a preemptive attack on you, which means that every enemy in the encounter will attack before you characters get a turn. However, if one of your characters has the warning ability, it counteracts that surprise. So now, because we have the warning ability, we will never, ever be preemptive attacked, even against a high-level monster that may have a surprise innate ability. So yeah, even though warning is a low rank ability, I think it's a level 2 rank ability, it is a lifesaver. So eventually we're going to want to get that surprise, but that's a very high level ability. So we're going to head here, and when we see the tower, hey, that's Ashura's tower. But before we head into Ashura's tower, there's another town we can go to. A goblin used the power of Magi and became a monster with 3 heads and 6 arms. That's Ashura. The spy went into the tower to get Ashura, but he got caught. Uh-oh. So, hey, you know what we're gonna do here? Rather than spend a bunch of money to heal ourselves up at the end, we're gonna use Vincent's cure. Now, because the robot, your mana stat also determines how much you heal when you get targeted by a curing spell. So, Honey Mouse isn't going to be healed as much as other characters, because Honey Mouse has 0 mana. So it's one weakness that the robots have, but we'll move P closer to the front of the area of the party, because he has some good defense now that he's a crab. He has a shell, so he doesn't have the shell ability though. Future crabs will have a shell ability, which basically functions as a shield, so. But we ain't gonna use that strength weapon anymore, and that Colt I just had just to, in case there was an enemy we wanted to run into that had a high defense. But we'll sell it, gain some money. How did you get here? Did anyone tell you? Yes, but we didn't follow their directions. Hey, let me know if you see Guardian Spy. He's a guy with a hat on. Could it be our father? Dad wore a hat. Check out the item store. Anything good here at the item store? Nope, just a whole bunch of items. No new armor, so... Alright. Well, goblins are really easy to defeat, but we'll see that, how powerful Magi can be, because when we fight Ashura, it's just gonna be much harder than just a regular standard goblin we were beating up on in the first world. So we've done all we could right now. Let's head into Ashura's tower. This is where the submachine gun is gonna be really, really handy, because there are a lot of large groups of monsters in this tower, so... Pebbles can be annoying because pebbles have O weapon, so they only take half damage from melee attacks, so... Yep, so that's why even Honey Mouse ain't doing too much damage to the pebble. Now, P has some pretty good strength, and it's also being boosted by 5 because P has a Power Magi equipped. So, hey, look right here. 7 beetles, and we don't have... If we didn't have that submachine gun, we would have no group target way to attack a whole group. Because we don't have a Mr. S with a fire spell or a Key with a thunder spell, so we wanted to get group targeting attack, so submachine gun is good. Because even though we only have 15 charges on it, it will refresh itself when we stay in battle, so... And Vincent and Linus's mana stat is too low right now that if we got a spell book instead, the spell wouldn't deal enough damage to take care of the group, so we want to go with the submachine gun. Baby worms. This was the first boss that we ran into with, well, mini boss I should say, back with Mr. S. Now it's a common regular enemy. Level 2 enemy, so... Ashura's tower, like other towers, is going to be pretty big at the base. And as we work our way up, the floors are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And of course, at the top is going to be Ashura, but you will not reach Ashura in this episode, because this tower is pretty big. And we get a saber. It's basically an upgraded rapier. We'll equip that. Get rid of the bow. That's not really all that useful. So now the saber is kind of overkill right now. So we're still going to use our rapier for most of these fights if we're doing single targeting attack. But for the boss, when we get to Ashura, that's when we're going to want to use the saber. So it has a higher damage multiplier than the rapier. So let's take out these guys here. Tentacle and Ink, weak against lightning, but we don't have any lightning attacks. But we have Honey Mouse with rapiers. That's just as good. Ooh, another battle. Luckily this one, even though it has 3 monsters in it, it's only 3 monsters, so... Unless we have a large group, like, 7, 6, 8 monsters, we'll just use the rapier instead of the submachine gun, so... Even though the submachine gun will, recharge when we stay at an inn, well, we don't have an inn climbing up here. Eventually, later on in the game, they will offer, like, portable inns called tents, but they're really expensive and we don't have access to them. But hey, we have another mini-boss here. Hey! A Woodman. Level 3 monster. But... well, let's take it out. And the Woodman is defeated. And we got a fire spell. Hey! Thanks a lot, I am, well, call me Mask. I came here to defeat Ashura, but you saw what happened to me. Why don't we work together? Good idea. They took everything away from me. Yeah, if we look at Mask's equipment, he doesn't have anything right now. But if we come here, oh, my equipment, I can fight now. No magic is good for Ashura, watch out. Yeah, so, we won't be able to damage Ashura with magic spells, but that's okay, we got Mask. He's very strong, even though he has a weak weapon and a hammer, so... Come back next episode, where we try to find Ashura. Take care, have a good day. Bye!